throttle up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Ledger. The Nerd Ledger is a podcast where we talk about, nerd stuff, including nerd news, movies, TV shows, sometimes comic books, sometimes video games, all sorts of different things. That's what the Nerd Ledger is all about. I'm Kaje. Usually I do this streamy thingy, this live podcast every Wednesday with Cher. But this week we're not doing one, so I'm here by myself to just talk about random things. But the number one reason why we didn't stream on Wednesday is because, well, The Bad Batch Season 3 started, the final season of The Bad Batch. The first 3 episodes are out, and so we wanted an opportunity to just watch those and discuss it for next week. And so that obviously gives everyone else time to watch them as well. So, because we spoil things, let's be honest, guys. Hey, we ain't holding nothing back. So yeah, that's the big thing. The Bad Batch Season 3, that's something that we're going to talk about next week. So, but anyway, I'm here. It's a Friday at 7 p.m. And I'm here to talk about stuff. So I'll talk about some news. If you're watching this anywhere, or if you're live, you'll see that I already have news on the screen. I'll get to that soon. Don't worry. I'm not getting to that now. I'll get to it soon. Because there's some house cleaning stuff, to take care of. And on top of that, I got some updates. I got a whole story to tell, okay? But yeah. First of all, there's some plans for podcasts in the future. I mean, obviously next Wednesday we'll be talking about The Bad Batch, and then for the weeks following, whenever new episodes drop, we'll be talking about those, and then whatever news comes up and stuff like that. But on top of that, the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender just dropped on Netflix, and so I'll probably talk about that with my wife, because we're going to watch it together. So, like we did Blue Eye Samurai, we'll probably do that together. And if Cher watches it, obviously he can be involved as well, but I don't know how much he's into that kind of stuff, so probably will just be my wife and I, which is perfectly fine, okay? It's perfectly fine, because, I love talking to her, and it's interesting to hear her perspectives and her feeling like she can speak freely about how she feels about things. So that'll be coming up, and then I still have plans to do Lord of the Rings movie reviews with Phoenix, because she has just recently watched those films for the first time, and I want to, I mentioned previously, approach them more from a standpoint of like just the movies, unless she has questions about the differences between the books and the movies or whatever. I want to really think about them just in the context of the movies and how they fail and succeed in their own ways as a film, and not necessarily compared to the books. And honestly, like, when I think about adaptations, right, and then mention Avatar: The Last Airbender getting a live-action adaptation, for me, it's like I try my best to not look at the live-action as a carbon copy of the animated series, because you have to understand that when something is adapted, whether it's from cartoon to live action or from book to movie or whatever, it's someone else's interpretation of that work. And so it's never going to be one-to-one. They're going to make changes to make things fit for their story, their narrative, and their purposes. And so my question's always going to be, do they work in that frame, and why or why not? And of course you're going to draw the comparisons because the animated series is so beloved and so important culturally to so many people, not like because of their culture, but like in pop culture, right? It's a big thing, and then it had this huge resurgence during COVID as well. People started watching it when it was on Netflix, and so even more people got into it, and then now we have this live action adaptation. And so I'm very interested to watch it and see what it has to offer, and hopefully I enjoy it. But there's those things, right? And the other thing is the story I have to tell, right? So anybody who's been listening or watching is familiar with my ongoing car trouble, and I'm just gonna retell that story in its entirety from start to finish. And if you don't care, if you don't want to hear this story because it has nothing to do with nerd shit, you can skip. You can skip ahead. I would put timestamps, but I'm lazy as fuck, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, I'll tell the whole story. So if you're not interested, you can go ahead and skip like 5 to 10 minutes or whatever, and then if you just want the news, hey, I'll talk about the news afterward, including the Harry Potter TV series release aim window, which is on the screen. So I'll get to that. And there's some other stuff. But yeah, so essentially, on December 10th, right? It's 2.5-ish months ago, December 10th, I was about to go to bed. My car was parked outside on the street where everyone else's cars are parked. And it was about like 11 o'clock at night, and we hear some shit, some like loud crashing thing. And to me, it sounded like those like work utility trailers that have like a bunch of like shovels and other shit and like lawnmowers in them. Like if they go over a speed bump really fast and you hear that like clatter, it kind of sounded like that, which is odd because there's no speed bumps around here. And like part of me was like, bro, what if someone just like rammed into my car right now? And then my wife checks the ring, and there's a car flipped upside down right by my car. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit. And so we go out there, and sure enough, a car driving fast as fuck up our street turned and drove straight into my vehicle and flipped. And the police came, and the people in the car surprisingly were fine. Like they both got out. They started like fighting, like not like physically, but like yelling at each other and stuff. The cops came. The guy got arrested, and like there was a bunch of shit that was like in their car that had like fallen out of their car. And to me, it looked like they lived in their car. And I say that because where we live, like literally, like if this is the street, that here's my car, and if you keep going up the hill, right there, then that's where like the river is, and like there's like a big parking lot like where the boat ramp where the river is over here, and a bunch of homeless people who live in their cars and shit live there. And like even we've seen one of the people that was in the car around, like walking around here before. So like I just thought like they're probably homeless and they don't have insurance. But I later found out they do have insurance. And so anyway, I'll get to that later in the story. So all this shit happens, right? December 10th, this shit happens. Adjuster for my insurance comes out a couple days later, looks at the car, gives me an estimate, $9.5K in damages. $9,500 in damages. And he even admits, he's like, there might be some more that I can't see, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, bro, I think there's way more. Like, and I texted him and I told him, I was like, are you sure? Like, everything's good? He's like, yeah, your car's fine. It's definitely repairable. There's no way it's totaled. All this shit. All right, cool. So it gets towed to a shop. And it's one of those things where, like, called the shop. I mean, he called the shop, whatever. Told them a car was coming. They said they have space. They said they could work on it. When the tow truck driver comes, he said, make sure you call them and make sure that they know it's coming. So I called them, like, yep, we know it's coming. So my car went there. And a day later, I get a call and they say, we don't have space. We don't have time to work on it. We're going to send it to one of our other shops, which is further away. And I was like, all right, whatever. So they sent it to a different shop. December 15th, it gets to the other shop. December 15th, it shows up at the other shop. And this is around the holidays, right? Obviously, December 15th, it's around the holidays. I don't get a call until like 2 days after Christmas, because I called the shop then and I was like, I wonder what's happening like with my car. So I called them, and the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm working on your car, and well, we haven't started work yet because I'm doing our estimate, and we have to take the car apart, and we have to do all this extensive stuff to you know figure out how much this is going to cost." And he's like, "I should have an estimate for you like later today." So later that day, he sends in the estimate, 21K, right? The initial estimate for my insurance was 9.5K. This guy comes back and says, "Bro, there's 21K in damages." And then my insurance proceeds to, over the next couple weeks, not approve it, give me a different adjuster. My guess is because their quotes were so different that, like, I don't know, they just gave me a different adjuster. That adjuster took the estimate from the shop, removed a bunch of shit, and sent it back to the shop. And the shop called me and they're like, "Well, we do need this stuff." They're like, there's like a labor rate thing that like we give them a better rate. So they adjusted that and that's fine, but it's only going to bring it down to like 20K. And their estimate that they are saying now is 17K because they're removing stuff that they shouldn't be. And so literally they didn't order parts until mid-January. So like a month after everything happened, after they got the car. And even then they didn't have the supplement approval from my insurance literally until like 3 weeks ago. So they finally got that. They started ordering parts, and everything's kind of going smoothly except for the fact that I don't know what's going on because I'm only hearing from the shop. Like I don't hear from the adjuster at all. And so like the shop will call me and they're like, "Yeah, we're waiting on this from the insurance." And so I'll talk to my insurance, my adjuster. I'll send him like a message. I'll be like, "Hey, yo, what's going on?" And like I barely hear anything. And so like that's super annoying to me. And so like I was just like, "Bro, like it's been a month and a half. Like I'm gonna have to rent a car soon because like my wife's gonna go back to work." And so I did eventually rent a car once I knew that the work had started because they had started getting in parts. But they're like, "Yeah, we're still waiting for this approval." And eventually, I think they got it because they started doing it. So they got an approval. So it was going to cost 20K. And even then, I still kind of felt like it would probably be more. And so when I hadn't really heard about them getting the approval yet, I had called, and I didn't call the adjuster. I called the insurance themselves because the adjuster to me was just being useless. Like he wasn't doing anything. So I called my insurance. They're like, "Well, you need to talk to your adjuster." And I was like, "Well, my adjuster's telling me, he's telling me either nothing or telling me that he's given them approval, and they're telling me they haven't got approval and they're still waiting. And so I need someone to do something because this is just a waste of like, bro, I need my car back." Like when the initial adjuster came out, said it was 9.5K. He said it would be 3 weeks. Bro, it's been a month and a half at that point, and like nothing had even started. And so I got a call from the adjuster like 3 days later, and he was like, "Yeah, you called, and it sounds like you think your car's totaled and stuff." And I'm like, "Bro, I didn't say that." Like he was just mad at me. Like he called me, and I was driving, so I didn't answer. He didn't leave a message. I called him back, and then he acted like he didn't know who the fuck I was. He's like, "Oh, what's your name? Oh, what's your car?" And he's like looking it up, like, "Oh, okay, yeah. Well, it looks like you called and stuff, and like." And I was like, "Yeah, bro, like my car's been there for a month and a half and I just want to know what's going on. Like, and it doesn't seem like anybody has any answers for me." And so, yeah, I called them like to just see what's going on. They weren't that helpful either. And so he was like, "Yeah, well, we give them approval and they're going to work on it." I was like, "All right, whatever." And so like, I was like, "Okay." So the only person at that point who would have been giving me any information or contacting me in any way is the mechanic at the shop. And so he had hit me up a couple weeks ago. He's like, "Yeah, like I guess it's slow, so like they're able to work on the car really fast." And he's like, "All right, well," he called me like a couple weeks ago. He's like, "All right, we're almost done. We got to do this stuff. We got to calibrate it. We got to do all these things to make sure it's good and do all this test driving." And so, he ended up calling me like the next week. He's like, "Bro, we got it calibrated. We got everything ready. But during test driving, we heard like some stuff like the two right-sided tires have some issues. And I was like, well, my car was parked on the street, so when it got rammed into, it got curbed. Like both the tires hit the curb and it went up on the curb, and so that's why there would be damage. And even the initial adjuster, who only gave 9.5K in damages, said there's probably damage to those tires that he can't see, so he didn't put it on his estimate. And I was like, so if my insurance tries to fight you on that, I have text messages with that initial adjuster about that shit. And they're like, all right, yep, we'll submit it. And he's like, we'll order the parts to do the wheel assemblies and get those fixed. And so they did that. And then so he called me this past week on Tuesday. And he says, we're done completely. Everything's ready. But we can't release the car to you until your insurance approves this additional supplement for those tires and stuff. And I was like, oh, all right. And so I texted my insurance adjuster and I was like, hey, they said they're done, but they're waiting on the final approval on their additional supplement before they can release the car to me. Hold on. Let me see if this guy ever got back to me on that. I think he did. I think he said he'd call them or something. Yeah, he said, I'll call them and see what they need, right? So that was the next day he got back to me, on Wednesday this week. On Thursday, which was yesterday, I had a call from the shop. The guy says, listen, we haven't got the approval of the supplement from your insurance yet, but my regional manager says we got your car here. It's been here for way too long, and you've been without it for too long. So I got approval to give it back to you, and we'll deal with your insurance later to get the approval. And I was like, all right, cool. And he's like, so you just need to pay your deductible, and I'll come drop your car off to you, pick up the rental car, and return it for you. And I was like, hey, chilla, ballin'. Except for the fact that I had to pay my deductible, which I have to get reimbursed to me, which, seeing as how long everything else has taken and the nightmare this shit has been in my insurance, going back and forth with the shop for like a month and a half over the fucking estimate, doesn't seem like it'll happen anytime soon. So I'm out $1,000 until they figure their shit out. But essentially, that's what happened. I paid my deductible. The guy came out to where I was, gave me my car back, took the rental car, returned it, got confirmation of all that. And so, yeah, I got my car back finally yesterday after 2.5 months of utter nonsense. And back to the other party, they did have insurance. Their insurance called me in like mid-January, and they're like, hey, we're accepting full liability. But at that point, I had already started the process through my insurance, so it's kind of one of those things where like my insurance will go through the rest of the process, and then they'll pay them back, and I have to wait probably till then to get my deductible back. And my guess is that things started moving more quickly after that other insurance got involved, because my insurance no longer cares about how much it costs, because they don't have to actually pay it. I mean, they're going to get reimbursed. But going back to everything that initially happened, I was told over and over and over and over again by the adjusters, there's no way your car is totaled. The shop called after they gave their 21K estimate. They called me and said, we're pretty sure it's totaled. Then I got the supplemental adjuster. He says, everybody's saying it's totaled. It's not. We value your car at $28,000, and at $20,000 it's not totaled. He's like, it'd have to be like 25-ish K for it to be totaled, because like there's a threshold, right? Once it's past a certain threshold, it's considered totaled, even if it's not more than what it's worth. After all is said and done, the shop told me how much they're gonna have to pay, $27K. The car was totaled. I don't know what that means for me now. I got the car back. It's all fixed. But I don't know how people are just that like incompetent and unwilling to like accept anything. They just like want to fight everything. And insurance is such a fucking scam already. Like, bro, I don't get to do what you guys did when I had to pay my deductible. I don't get to go, maybe, well, I don't think it's that much, right? I don't think it's worth that much. Like, there's no way, guys. That's like, bro, I don't get to do that shit. I don't get to do that when I have to pay you every fucking month. I don't get to sit there and haggle with you and tell you, oh, you shouldn't be this much. I don't get to do that shit. I just have to pay you, bruh. Pay the fucking shit so I can get my fucking car back. Like, that's all I ever fucking asked, and I just wanted answers and communication the whole time. Never got fucking communication. It's like, I don't know. And then you get mad when I call someone different, the actual like insurance people, because I should be talking to you, but you haven't told me anything. Like, it's fucking weird, bruh. So yeah, that's the whole story. Other than now there's gonna be a when do I get my money back saga, but that's where I'm at. I finally got my car back, and that's good. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the shop. They did a great job, and the car drives great, and that's all I can ask for. And they were the only people really communicating with me and actually doing anything, and so I appreciate that. And so I don't know if they're like nationwide or anything, but the people who worked on my car is Caliber Collision, and so I would definitely recommend the shop if you need car repairs, which hopefully you don't, and hopefully your insurance isn't a fucking bitch like mine. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. So now I will jump into some of this news. So there's some it's not just this Harry Potter news. There's other like WB like news around like release windows for things. But like the main two are this and then a Game of Thrones spinoff. So I'll cover those. So the Harry Potter TV series is aiming for a 2026 debut on HBO Max. The date was revealed this morning, Friday morning, by David Zaslav on the company's fourth quarter earnings call. Warner Brothers Discovery chief David Zaslav says he met with J.K. Rowling in London a few weeks ago to discuss the series. He said, "We've not been shy about our excitement about Harry Potter. The last film was made more than a dozen years ago." Zaslav also said that he met just a few weeks ago with Harry Potter creator J.K. Rowling in London. He said, "I was in London a few weeks ago with Casey and Channing," and these are chiefs at WB and HBO, "and we spent some real time with JK and her team. Both sides are thrilled to be reigniting the franchise. Our conversations were great, and we couldn't be more excited about what's ahead. We can't wait to share a decade of new stories with fans around the world on Max." Development of the series began back in 2021, as The Hollywood Reporter exclusively reported. WBD, which is Warner Brothers Discovery, gave the series a green light last year and said the plan is to develop seasons based on all the books, spreading out over 10 years. So, yeah, 2026, I mean, it's 2 years away, but and it seems like a long time, and it probably will feel like a long time, bro. Deadpool's 5 months away, and that feels like forever from now. So, yeah, it's a long time, but honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I hope they do something new, exciting. They can expand on the world a little more, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's difficult because even though, like he mentions, like it's been a long time since we've had Harry Potter on our screens. I mean, anywhere on a big screen, right? Like it's still in such recent memory that like I think a lot of people will feel like it's too soon still. So we'll see what happens. But they also talked about a Game of Thrones spinoff, The Hedge Knight. It's got a release date also in 2025. Dunk and Egg are journeying closer to their HBO debut on Friday, which is today. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav gave an update on the next Game of Thrones spin-off series, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, a title that seems destined to be changed to something that doesn't have knight twice. Creator and this was said by David Zaslav. I'm going to give him a voice now because I'm by myself. Chair doesn't like my voices. He doesn't like my impressions, my accents, and even the random voices I assign to people. And they're not always the person's real voice. I have no idea what David Zaslav sounds like, so I'm just gonna give him a random voice, right? And I don't have to feel bad about it, okay? I'm not going to, because hey, I have great voices. Let's be honest, bro. My impressions are good, my accents are good, and my whatever, the way I'm gonna read this shit is gonna be entertaining. All right. So this is what David Zaslav said. He said, creator and executive producer George R. Martin is in pre-production for the new spin-off, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which will premiere in late 2025 on Max. The show is expected to begin production sometime this year. Given that House of the Dragon is launching its second season in this summer, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms date next year raises the possibility of HBO settling into a flow of having Thrones drama each year, assuming both shows can turn around their next seasons within 2 years. David Zaslav continued, looking ahead, we've got one of the best lineups in the history of HBO. The next quarter will have Hacks and House of the Dragon, followed by DC's The Penguin and the new Dune series. Then in 2025, we'll kick off the year with the new season of The White Lotus, followed by The Last of Us and Euphoria, just to name a few. As reported earlier this month, HBO is also developing an Aegon's Conquest prequel series from the Batman Part 2 writer Mattson Tomlin. Other ideas set in Martin's fantasy world are also in development, though only House of the Dragon and The Night of the Seven Kingdoms have been greenlit. The Hedge Knight is based on Martin's popular trio... Oh, Jesus, sorry, my mic did a little peaky. It did a little peaky, I'm sorry. I'll try not to peaky. The Hedge Knight is based on Martin's popular trio of Dunk and Egg novellas, which chronicle the story of Dunk, the future Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, Sir Duncan the Tall, and Egg, the future King Aegon V Targaryen, as they wander Westeros, having adventures roughly 100 years before the events of the novels. The description is this. A century before the events of Game of Thrones, two unlikely heroes wandered Westeros, a young, naive, but courageous knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his diminutive squire Egg, set in an age when the Targaryen line still holds the Iron Throne and the memory of the last dragon has not yet passed from living memory. Great destinies, powerful foes, and dangerous exploits all await those improbable and incomparable friends. So, yeah. I appreciate that this article was a little more lengthy than the Harry Potter one. But yeah, I think House of the Dragon Season 1 was fine. It wasn't like incredible or anything, but it was still good. It still makes me want to watch Season 2. The dragons look fantastic. And I'm confident that this series will also be at least entertaining, if nothing else. So look forward to that as well. So in other news, I am not going to... disable my ad blocker because I don't give a shit. All right, bruh. Because if I do, my shit will lag to a fucking eternity. Because, bro, it's just what happens. But let me fix this because this is a different website, so now I have to make sure that everyone can see everything. So let me just do the thing. All right, let's see how this looks. All right, so The Crow, guys, The Crow reboot. So, this is a very, very touchy subject for some people, all right? I'm going to keep it a buck and a stack. This is a very touchy subject for some people, and if you're not familiar, I'll give you the background, right? So, The Crow. Crow is a movie that came out in the 90s, starring Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee. Brandon Lee, right here on the screen if you're watching, he's on the screen. That's Brandon Lee as The Crow. He portrayed the character The Crow. The Crow is a graphic novel series by James O'Barr, and it got made into a movie in the 90s, starring Brandon Lee. And during the filming of The Crow, a blank, right, there's a scene where someone points a gun at The Crow, at Eric Draven, and it's supposed to fire a blank, but it didn't. It fired a real bullet. And Brandon Lee died. He died on the set of The Crow while filming. And so his essentially people who love this movie, which there's a good number of people. I mean, it's a cult classic at this point. They're of the opinion that no one should ever play Eric Draven again. I mean, Brandon Lee immortalized the role. He died playing that role. No one else should ever play The Crow. Well, no, sorry, not The Crow. Eric Draven, because there are other versions of The Crow who aren't Eric Draven. So the argument is no one should play Eric Draven. He should never be recast. And obviously, when there's money involved, Eric Draven's the most popular version of The Crow. So, of course, they're going to make a remake and recast Eric Draven. And they did. Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise the Clown in It, has been cast as The Crow. And the reboot of the movie is actually coming out this year. And that's what this article is about. So, okay, I have to fix this so that we can actually see the article, guys. All right, there we go. All right, so I'm actually gonna fix this too. Sorry if you're only listening because it's got to be annoying. So yeah, The Crow reboot lands a mid-2024 release date. The long gestating remake of The Crow starring Bill Skarsgård will fly into theaters this June. Last year, Deadline brought the word that Lionsgate had picked up director Rupert Sanders' remake of The Crow. The outlet now reports that the film will hit the big screen in 3.5 months' time on June 7th, 2024. In turn, Lionsgate has bumped Ballerina, the John Wick spin-off film starring Ana de Armas, and from June 7th, 2024 to June 6th, 2025, the studio has also dated an untitled Guy Ritchie movie for January 17th, 2025. Sanders' The Crow stars Skarsgård as Eric Draven, a role that late Brandon Lee played in the 1994 film of the same name. Actor-singer FKA Twigs, real name Talia Barnett, stars opposite Skarsgård as Shelley Webster. Eric's fiance. Brain. Based on the 1989 comic book by James O'Barr, the film follows Eric as he rises from the dead to avenge Shelley's murder, as well as his own murder. Danny Huston, Laura Byrne, Sammy Boyagila, and Jordan Bolger round out the reboot's main cast. Let's see what else is in here. The Crow's journey back to the big screen. So, I guess this is some of the history. So, let's see. Whatever I missed. So, The Crow's journey back to the big screen, directed by Alex Proyas. The initial cinematic adaptation of The Crow premiered in May 1994, 30 years and 1 month before Sanders' remake is due to open. A sequel, The Crow City of Angels, hit theaters in 1996. Two more sequels, The Crow Salvation and The Crow Wicked Prayer, went straight to home video in 2000 and 2005, respectively, following limited theatrical runs. Additionally, a television series titled The Crow, Stairway to Heaven, aired on first-run syndication for a single season from 1998 to 1999. A cinematic reboot of The Crow has been in varying stages of development since late 2008. One unproduced version of the film, titled The Crow Reborn, was to be directed by Corin Hardy, with Jason Momoa attached to play Eric Draven. The project took its final form in March 2022, with Sanders and Zach Balin signing on to direct and write, respectively. Skarsgård signed on to star the following month. Production ultimately got underway in July 2022, before wrapping the following September. So, yeah, that's it. Bro, I don't see. This is why, like, if you see this on the screen, this is why I do not stop my ad blocker, bro. Ain't nobody trying to see this shit. Anyway, so that's that article. So now into some DC news. Joe Manganiello says that James Gunn told him to let go of Deathstroke origin movie. So, this isn't that interesting, but I'm going to read it anyway. So Joe Manganiello says James Gunn told him to let go of a Deathstroke origin movie. Manganiello told comicbook.com that Gunn, the co-CEO and co-chairman of DC Studios alongside Peter Safran, seemingly doesn't have any plans to adapt a screenplay the actor wrote for a Deathstroke origin film. This is what he said. He said, James Gunn is my buddy. And James and I had a conversation about it because Jim Lee over at DC Comics wanted me to create a graphic novel series based on the screenplay that I wrote for the Deathstroke origin film that, when they were dismantling the DCEU, that went to the wayside as well. Jim read it and wanted it to be a graphic novel series, but no one could assure me that, if it garnered the attention of directors and producers, that I couldn't be attached. So I had to let it go. James Gunn was just like, let it go. So a little bit of the history here. Joe Manganiello briefly played Slade Wilson, a.k.a. Deathstroke, in 2017's Justice League and 2021 Zack Snyder's Justice League. He was originally going to play a greater role in the DCEU Batman movie, co-starring Ben Affleck. However, the film never came to fruition as the DCEU ended with 2023's Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom. Gunn and Safran are now rebooting the franchise with a new DCU. The DCU kicks off later this year with an animated Creature Commando series. Gunn is also directing a new Superman movie, Superman Legacy, starring David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Skylar Gisondo, Maria Gabriela De Faria, Nathan Fillion, Isabella Merced, Eddie Gattigi, Sarah Sampio, and Anthony Kerrigan. At this time, there's been no public announcement as to whether or not Deathstroke will appear in the forthcoming DCU, although in December 22, Gunn tweeted, could be, when asked if there were plans to include the character in the universe. So, something I didn't include here, but James Gunn also tweeted out a photo with the cast of Superman Legacy this week, so that's out there as well, because I think they did a table read or something, so... Yeah, I mean, how do you guys feel about this? Do you feel like he would have been a good Deathstroke? Do you feel like Deathstroke's kind of been overdone in recent years through other DC projects? Or do you feel like you still want to see him? Because, bro, he was in Titans, he was in Arrow, he's been in a lot of things, so who knows? All right, more Batman news. This one made Cher really sad, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more in depth when he's around, because I know it made him sad, guys. It made him sad. So if you look on the screen here, there's some concept art of Batman Beyond, and it's because the Spider-Verse artists, they pitched a DC animated movie, a Batman Beyond DC animated movie. Yuki Demers, who previously worked in the art department for 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and 2023 Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, has shown off some concept art for a pitched Batman Beyond movie. On Twitter, Demers posted 3 photos from a pitched Batman Beyond movie that, if green-lighted by Warner Bros. Discovery and DC Studios, would be directed by Patrick Harpin. Who said this? I gotta make sure. Demers said this. Yuki Demers. I don't know if this is a guy or girl, guys, so I don't want to, do a weird voice. All right? All right, I'm just going to... whatever. I'm just going to send it, okay? 5 months ago, Patrick Harpin walked into Warner Brothers in DC and pitched a Batman Beyond animated feature. Before we pitched, they warned us there's absolutely no way we can do a Beyond movie, but they loved our enthusiasm. We pitched the outline of the entire film, and what started as a never turned into a maybe. In the time since, we've been pitching our way up the company, hoping to get to James Gunn. But for now, here's a taste of what we've been cooking. And so they posted these images. You can see them here if you're looking at my screen. Batman Beyond. So Batman Beyond in a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse kind of animation style. And if the work is good, I mean, if it has the same impact, the same writing kind of shit that those movies had, I mean, that can be incredible. And there's a lot of people out there that are major fans of Batman Beyond. So a lot of headlines about this. And before I read the article, I thought as well, this isn't happening, because a lot of the headlines had that line that DC told them before it was pitched, it's not happening. We're not making it. And so, not DC, but Warner Brothers. And so now after reading it, it seems more clear that there is an opportunity. And now that it's been released, right, this is what they do. They go to Twitter and they get all this buzz and all these people saying, we want this. And when you get all those people saying, we want this, studios sometimes tend to cave. And that's good because that's how capitalism works. If people want something, if there's demand for it, then you make it and give it to them and they pay you money. And so it's possible, and it's something I'd be excited for, and I don't know, maybe other people will be excited for it as well, but and I know for sure Chair wants it now. So on to some Marvel news. I mean, this is more Sony news, and again, I don't want to disable my ad blocker. Okay, bitch. Sorry. So this is a report that says a Spider-Man Noir series is eyeing Nick Cage, and the Silk series purges writer's room. And for people who don't know comic books or whatever, and you are confused by this headline, I will explain some things, right? Spider-Man Noir, I mean, people are probably familiar with him from the Spider-Verse movies, right? He was voiced by Nicolas Cage. He's like this 1930s Peter Parker, Spider-Man, not Peter Parker necessarily, but Spider-Man, who I think is really fucking cool. It's the series, one of the initial series of Spider-Man Noir was really good, so I'm a fan. And then Silk is Cindy Moon. Cindy Moon was bitten by the same spider, I think, pretty sure the same spider that bit Peter Parker, but she was thrown in a bunker by her parents, and she grew up in a bunker until she was like 16 or something. I don't remember exactly, but she grew up essentially in this bunker away from everyone because her parents were afraid. So Cindy Moon eventually gets out, and there's some weird fucking pheromone shit with Spider-Man. I don't know, but she becomes her own hero in her own right and all this shit. And I'm a fan of Silk. So Sony and Amazon's Spider-Man Noir series is reportedly eyeing Nicolas Cage to star. Meanwhile, fellow Prime Video series Silk Spider Society seems to be undergoing a creative overhaul. According to The Ankler, Cage is currently in serious talks to play the lead role in Spider-Man Noir, a live-action Marvel series set against the backdrop of 1930s New York City. Cage previously voiced Peter Parker Spider-Man Noir in Sony Pictures Animation's 2018 animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Sony declined to comment on whether Cage would be reprising his role in the Spidey Variants live-action series on Prime Video. In other news, Silk Spider Society is reportedly changing course. The Ankler also reports that Amazon has let go of the entire writer's room for Silk Spider Society, another Spider-Man spin-off series planned as part of Sony's deal with Amazon. Despite the writer purge, however, Angela Kang, who has a multi-year overall deal with Amazon, remains on board as showrunner. Additionally, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller of Into the Spider-Verse fame are still attached to produce, while Kai Wu and Jim Barnes will executive produce. Silk Spider Society centers on Cindy Moon, aka Silk, a Korean-American Marvel heroine who was bitten by the same radioactive spider that turned Peter Parker into Spider-Man. One source told The Ankler that the Silk series is being refocused with a more male-skewing audience in mind. Amazon declined to comment on the matter, though The Ankler notes that Amazon Prime's video service was, quote, found success with a number of male-skewing series, including Reacher, Jack Ryan, and The Terminal. However, the outlet also points out that Prime Video has found success with female-skewing young adult shows like The Summer I Turned Pretty as well. Apparently, Silk's writer's room had already finished work on a number of episodes before the Writers Guild of America strike began last May. The strike ended in September, though Amazon MGM Studios kept several projects on hold after the fact, Silk included. In November, the Writers Guild of Association informed Amazon that its failure to recommence a number of writing rooms after the strike is a violation of the strike termination agreement between the Writers Guild and whatever. Shortly thereafter, Deadline reported that the Silk Writers Room was due to reopen in January, and now they've all been fired. So I'm sure there's a reason for it, aside from the male skewing audience thing. I'm sure, bro. The thing is, Sony has shown us they have no fucking clue what they're doing. And that's not only present because of Morbius, it's present now with Madame Web. It's just I'm sorry, I've said this since 2018's Venom, which even that movie was actually decent, but I've said it since then. Most people are not interested in Spider-Man spin-off films that don't have Spider-Man in them. Like, and there's so many projects that Sony announced that have either been postponed or canceled, such as a Jackpot movie, because number one, it's a Spider-Man villain with no Spider-Man. Well, not a Spider-Man villain, but it's Spider-Man spin-off with no Spider-Man. And number two, people don't know who the fuck Jackpot is. Most people won't even know that Jackpot is a female, and now the current Jackpot is Mary Jane. People don't know that shit, right? People do not know. And then the Black Cat and Silver Sable movie that was announced and then later not announced again. I don't fucking know, bro. Like, nobody knows what the fuck Sony's doing. All we know is you could bring in Miles, you could bring back Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, you can bring back Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, you can do anything you want to bring Spider-Man into these movies, yet you're deciding not to, and nobody gives a fuck, okay? Nobody wants to see a Madam Web movie with no Spider-Man, first of all, and nobody wants to see a Madam Web movie where the entire plot is about the future and none of this shit actually ever happened. Yet. Kind of shit. At least that's what I hear. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I can't even say it's bad because I haven't seen it. But it's not doing well and it's not getting good reviews. That's all I know. And again, I can't comment on the quality of it. I can't say it's a bad movie. It could be a fantastic movie, but it doesn't matter how good the movie is because if it doesn't make money, it won't get any more. Right? Like, we won't get more Madam Web movies. We won't. Hopefully, they stopped doing this Spider-Man spinoff without Spider-Man shit altogether. If it was up to me, they'd stop doing that shit. Because, honestly, I don't care. And, sure, it doesn't matter what I think, but I also don't think the majority of other fucking people care, based on how Morbius made no fucking money, and Madam Web made no fucking money. And if they were good enough movies to make money, they'd be released in months where you make a bunch of fucking money. Right? That doesn't happen because nobody gives a shit. Anyway, moving on to the next article. So, all I'm going to say about this, don't put too much stock into articles like this, right? Because this is what happens. These headlines go out. And then people read the headline, and then they get mad about it, or they tell their friends, and they get mad about it, and then you see YouTube videos of a bunch of people mad about nothing. And obviously, bro, this is the internet. People get mad about fucking everything for no fucking reason, all right? I'll read the article, and I'll explain to you why I say things that I say. So, the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom reportedly won't be the MCU movie's main villain. Apparently he won't appear until the very end of the movie. According to Jeff Snyder's The Insnider, Doctor Doom will be featured in Matt Shakman's upcoming The Fantastic Four movie. However, he won't make his MCU debut until the very end of the movie. An actor has not yet been cast for this part. Should the reports be true, Doom's minimal role in the Fantastic Four will likely pave the way for him to be a more sizable threat in Secret Wars, which is currently scheduled to release in 2027, and other forthcoming MCU projects. Instead of Doom, Galactus is reportedly expected to be the main antagonist in the Fantastic Four. Snyder first reported that No Country for Old Men's Javier Bardem was Marvel's top choice for the role in November 2023, though this has not yet been confirmed by the studio at this time. Antonio Banderas was also previously rumored to be up for the part. Additionally, Marvel is reportedly beginning to look, I guess, I don't know, something about actors for the part of Silver Surfer, though it's not immediately clear how big of a role the character will have in the film. Listen, why I say people will run with this is the headline says Doom won't be the main villain. People will take that and say, Doom's not going to be in the movie. And even if that's true, it's not a big deal. Like, Doctor Doom should be built up to be a major, major villain, not just kind of wasted as a one-off villain, right? Or you do the Loki thing where he's partially a villain or orchestrating things in the background and obviously grows bigger and bigger roles for the future. But I mean, Galactus is a huge jump, to be honest. Galactus is a huge villain. And then they can't say Silver Surfer, we don't know how big a role he'll have. Bro, if Galactus is the villain, Silver Surfer's going to have an immense role. Like, come on. Let's be honest. But even this comes from a guy called Jeff Snyder. Have you heard of him? Some of you probably have, right? He's probably like an insider, whatever, And when there's articles like this, they usually start at a place of truth where things are discussed, and then these insiders or whatever come out and say, hey, blah, 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 right? But the ultimate result isn't necessarily this, right? Like what actually happens in the movie, what actually happens from this point moving forward may not be this. And so what happens is people take this and they come to conclusions, then they go see the movie, and when their conclusions aren't met, they get mad about it, and then they say the movie is bad because of it, or this or that, and like all this shit, or they forget entirely about it. But like I always say, take the stuff with a grain of salt and don't let it affect your emotions about anything. Like, bro, this is just a report. Like, it means nothing right now. Like, there's no use getting fucking all up in your feelings and all this shit just because a report comes out, right? Because I've spoken to people who have heard this report and said, and they're gonna waste Dr. Doom in the movie. They're gonna waste him because he's not gonna be in the movie till the end of the movie. Nobody gives a fuck about Mole Man. Now they're gonna do Mole Man, right? And then you say, well, Mole Man was the first villain in Fantastic Four in the first issue. I mean, like, it's Mole Man, right? But most people don't give it. Even then, hey, that doesn't mean you have to care. But Galactus is a huge villain. Huge villain. And it's hard to top him once you've done him too. So, and even then, we don't know. We don't know anything yet. Like, for me personally, I don't get excited about this shit until it actually happens, because there's no point to me. Like, I don't want to set myself up for disappointment. I don't want to be sad or let my feelings and emotions impact anything because I got invested in something that turned out to not be true. So that's just me personally. You do you. Live your life, honestly. Like, don't let me tell you how to live your life. Do your thing, okay? So yeah, there's that. And then final bit of news that I'm going to talk about comes from The Hollywood Reporter, and it's titled, How Marvel is Quietly Retooling Amid Superhero Fatigue. And so obviously this title has the assumption that superhero fatigue is a thing, a real thing that is happening. And I think we can all agree at this point that that's true. That is true. Superhero fatigue is a real thing. And it is affecting people. A lot of people are getting tired and feel like the quality is gone. And Disney and Bob Iger has spoken a lot about focusing on quality over quantity, reducing the number of TV shows and movies they put out every year, and really honing in and focusing. And so, here's this article. The studio's golden box office. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bigger. Make it a little bigger. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Moved the wrong thing. That's okay. All right. So, all right. The studio's golden box office aura has been dented by Chief Architect Kevin Feige. But Chief Architect Kevin Feige isn't scrapping his years-long cinematic universe plan, just refining it. An insider says they're not going to give up. So, just over a year ago, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was set to take Marvel Studios to the next level. A new villain was going to be introduced, setting the stage for several years' worth of storytelling, and the movie itself was a giant sizing of a franchise that was previously modest in scope. Instead, the Peyton Reed directed movie heralded a year's worth of missteps, box office blunders, and PR nightmares. It was all uncharted territory for Marvel, which had steadily been generating box office gold for 15 years. But the Disney division is in the midst of a pretty darn good February, all things considered, despite the general gloom that surrounds the superhero genre as of late. The Super Bowl trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine became the most watched trailer of all time, with 365 million views in 24 hours. Yes, Disney's math includes the 123 million people who tuned in for the game, which included just 30 seconds of the trailer, but Super Bowl fudging or not, the clip's reach was an encouraging number for a studio whose last movie, The Marvels, became the lowest grossing in the MCU's 33-film run, hitting just 206 million globally. So before I continue, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. The Marvels made very little money, which is a bad sign. It's a bad sign because it makes Disney go, why are we going to keep making these movies when they don't perform well? And not like all Marvel movies, but in particular, movies like The Marvels, or Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel, right? Captain Marvel made a bunch of money, but the Marvels didn't. And so the thing is, a lot of people who saw the movie quite liked the movie. I've barely seen any bad reviews of that movie. There are some people who just think it was trash and it's the same thing over and over and there's nothing original in this and that. But there's always going to be naysayers, and I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Everyone I've spoken to who's seen it has enjoyed the movie, and I read comment sections with positive things to say about the movie, and let me tell you, comment sections are never positive. Comment sections rip everything apart, so yeah, there's that. Anyway, moving on. Next came the Valentine's Day unveiling of the cast of the Fantastic Four: Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and Joseph Quinn, coupled with retro art teasing the 1960s setting for the movie. The Fantastic Four are a cornerstone of the Marvel mythos, with writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby introducing the team in 1961's Fantastic Four #1, the comic that would initiate the Marvel Universe. So the symbolic launch of the new team carries a lot of weight for the film division. This will be the third incarnation of the Fantastic Four to hit the big screen, not counting the infamous Roger Corman version, which was never officially released. A day later, Marvel launched the trailer for X-Men 97, a revival of the 1990s cartoon that debuts in March. The trailer set an internal Disney record as the biggest launch for an animated series on Disney+, ahead of other Marvel shows such as What If and any animated Star Wars series. These public-facing moves come as studio boss Kevin Feige recalibrates the creative direction behind the scenes. Early in February, the company completed reshoots for Agatha Darkhold Diaries, the WandaVision spin-off starring Catherine Hahn, that is expected to hit Disney Plus this fall. The company usually budgets 5 days of reshoots into the schedule, but the studio completed the work in just one, fueling a sunny outlook around the show internally, according to sources associated with the series. The studio also quietly hired Eric Pearson to polish the script for Fantastic Four, which will shoot this summer in London. Pearson is a company stalwart who worked on Thor Ragnarok and Black Widow and has a reputation for taking projects over the finish line. The stakes for that movie are high, as the studio is still searching for characters and actors who can carry its universe forward after the exits of Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. Marvel also hired Joanna Kahlo, the showrunner of acclaimed FX series The Bear, to work on the script for Thunderbolts. The Hollywood Reporter has learned the film will begin shooting in March in Atlanta. Her hiring adds a flair of prestige to the project, which stars Florence Pugh, and according to a source who has read previous drafts of the script, centers on villains and anti-heroes going on a mission that was supposed to end with their deaths. Marvel is also cleaning up the creative mess left in the wake of Jonathan Majors, the once rising actor cast to play the linchpin villain role in the next Avengers movie, but who in December was found guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and harassment in a Manhattan court after a domestic incident with his ex-partner, a movement coach he met while working on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Marvel dropped Majors hours after the conviction and is rewriting those movies, which will now either minimize the character or excise him entirely. The first of the new Avengers movies, due out in 2026, was initially titled Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, but will be getting a new title to remove the character's name, though sources say that even before Major's conviction, the studio was making moves to minimize the character after Quantumania underperformed, grossing $476 million. On the TV side, Marvel has been reorganizing its operations to allow for greater control from showrunners, a move made after the critical failure of the expensive Samuel L. Jackson spy series Secret Invasion, which sidelined executive producers Kyle Bradstreet after a year, with various creative factions vying for influence in his wake. The show had about 2.5 billion minutes of viewing over its 6-week run per Nielsen, in the bottom third of Marvel's live-action Disney Plus offerings so far. One insider said the focus is internal this year when talking about the tinkering going on behind the scenes. Execs are not calling it a reboot, but not even a soft one, but more of a creative retooling. It's no secret that since the 2019 Avengers Endgame, the company was asked to scale up in an unprecedented way to feed its fledgling streaming service Disney Plus, then a top priority for Disney, which was in the thick of streaming wars, right? In the thick of the streaming wars. First, under the direction of Disney CEO Bob Iger, and later his short-lived successor Bob Chapek, Marvel expanded into TV series and animation, with the goal of the MCU becoming a place with a seemingly endless procession of year-round releases. It was an ask that proved too unwieldy to sustain. Bob Iger said in February, he said, "Some of our studios lost a little focus, so the first step that we've taken is to reduce volume. We've reduced output, particularly at Marvel, in order to ensure the films you're making can be even better." As the Hollywood strikes ended in November, the studio delayed Captain America New World Order 7 months to February 14th, 2025, to give it time to undergo reshoots. Iger touted Captain America 4, starring Anthony Mackie, as among the 2025 Disney releases he was most excited for during the earnings call. He did not mention Blade, leading to speculation it will be moved from its November 2025 date, which it definitely will get pushed to 2026. That's my opinion. It's unlikely that Marvel will release 4 films that year, given Iger's mandate to slim down. The dual writers and actors strike, while costly to Hollywood, ironically gave Marvel breathing space. It was able to reschedule its movies so that only Deadpool and Wolverine will be released in 2024, and only 2 series, Echo and Agatha, are bowing on Disney Plus this year. Other movies remain in the script stage, while TV shows such as Ironheart have filmed but have no release date in sight. It's all designed to give creatives some breathing room and audiences the chance to give the MCU just a little bit. To miss the MCU just a little bit, sorry. One source who has worked with Marvel over the past year said, "They're not giving up. They want to make something great." So there you go. That's the whole article. And I think we can all agree it needed to be done. I mean, like, it's hard when you put out something like Endgame, right? Infinity War and Endgame, to continue that success over and over, especially because there's a lot of things going on in the like with theaters and in the economy and things like this that can affect box office. Like, there's a lot more to it, but people will go see Marvel movies that they're excited for. Like Deadpool, let's be honest, Deadpool is going to make a fuck ton of money. People are going to go see it. People went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 despite everything. People will go see movies that they want to see. Right, that don't get all these weird fucking social media angry people. Like, people get mad about everything, but like, there's certain things that are easier targets than others, right? And so it's good. I think we can all agree they needed retooling. They don't need a reboot or a rebrand or all this shit. Like, comic books are notorious for that. Like, they do it all the time. They kind of reset at a status quo or whatever, and kick off from there. And like, they could do that. I mean, they have the foundation for it. They have the new Avengers kind of coming in and all this shit, but they need that in a movie sense, right? Like, comic books are a little easier because you don't have to worry about like getting great actors who can carry your franchise for however many years, which is incredibly difficult to do with movies. So we'll see what happens moving forward. And yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for the future of the MCU. I'm excited for X-Men 97. I don't, honestly, Agatha, don't give a shit. Let's be honest. I don't care. It could be great, but it's one of those ones where if I'm in charge trimming the fat, I would have trimmed that fat before it even got made. I don't know. There's probably a goal there. I mean, Agatha, like, yeah, she's a character in comics. Not to me, not a hugely significant character, but hey, who knows? Who knows what they're trying to do? So yeah. I mean, I look forward to. Bro, I'm pumped for fucking Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm so fucking excited for that shit. Anyway, that's it. That's all the news. That's all the news, guys. That's all the news. I'm done here. I'm done. If you have any thoughts, feel free to share them. You can follow the Nerd Ledger on Twitter, on Instagram. You can follow the podcast or subscribe to the podcast on any podcast platform that you use. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on Pandora. We're on fucking Google Podcasts. We're on everything, bro. Everywhere. If you want to subscribe, do that. You can rate us. You can review us on those platforms. If you want to watch the video of the stream, you can go to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can subscribe and like and leave a comment or whatever. Tell us we suck. Tell us you love us. Whatever. Don't care. Or if you want to watch live whenever we're live, go to Twitch, twitch.com/Twitch TV/The Nerd Ledger, and you can follow. You can follow the stream, and then click the little bell or whatever. Whenever we go live, you'll get a notification. We're usually live every Wednesday, 5:30ish p.m. PST, Pacific Time. So you can catch us live, and you can hop in the chat and say things like shut up or move on or you guys are dumb or I agree with that, whatever you want to say. So yeah, that's it. That's everything. Much love. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, is tuning in, is not tuning in, whatever. Much love. Thank you very much. And we'll be back on Wednesday to talk about the Bad Batch. Bye.